Hello everyone. In this video, we would like to take the hands-on demonstration of ListView component and ScrollPane component. Let us take the problem statement. We are going for design and implement a JavaFX application that allows a user to select and display multiple hobbies from a given list. The graphical user interface contains the first component is ListView component that displays predefined list of hobbies. The second component ScrollPane, which will go for handle list conveniently, horizontal scrolling and vertical scrolling. The list view component allows multiple selection also. A button which is labeled with find your hobbies, that button is displayed on the JavaFX scene. When that button is pressed, the item selected from the list view displayed on the label. In order to display selected items from the list view, when button is pressed, a label component is taken. The label component displays the selected hobbies. Let us discuss the functional requirements of this application. The list view component, which contains hobbies as OTT, competitive programming, learning programming languages, learning music, app development, nature learner, games, watching TV serials, social media. These are the hobbies are displayed. Of course, from this program, we are identifying the important hobbies that are required to become a good software engineer. Then allow the user, the second functional requirement is allow the user select more than one hobby at a time from the list view. So that means from the list view component, the user is allowed to select not only one hobby but also select more than one hobby. And another functional requirement is when the user click on find your hobbies button, the button created on the JavaFX scene, when user is clicking on find your hobbies button, it retrieves all selected items from the list view and displays that item, that means that hobbies, on the label line by line. So in order to implement this application and proper arrangement of list view component, button component and label component on the JavaFX scene, we will arrange by using FlowPane component. Let us take the hands-on practice. Open a new file. Take the file name as ListView fxdemo.java. Save the file. Import all required packages. Import all required packages. Import javafx.application. Import javafx.stage. Import javafx.scene. Import javafx.scene.layout. Import javafx.scene.control. Import javafx.event for event handling. Import javafx.geometry. For arranging FlowPane component on the scene. Then import javafx.collections for creating list of items to the list view. So this is the way we imported all required packages. Let us check again. Then we'll go for definition of the ListView FX demo class. Extends application, take a ListView reference variable. ListView will take hobbies as string elements, so that's why we are taking generic type as string LV. Then take a ScrollPane reference, SP. Then take a label reference L. Take a button for find your hobbies button. Take a scene variable S. Take a FlowPane reference variable, FlowPane SP. So this is the way we are taking required component for this application. Let us define a init method, public void init, create a label component, L is equal to new label, then create a button component, button B is equal to new button, find your hobbies, then create a list view component, LV is equal to new list view. We are creating a list view object with empty arguments constructor, list view, and generic type as string type. Once after creation of list view component, we will add items to the list view by calling setItems method. Now we will create a list view observable list. Observable list string items is equal to, so this statement creates the items for the list view by calling method from fx collections class, which is imported from JavaFX.collections package. Method is observable array list method. Let us take the elements as OTT, then competitive programming, then learning programming languages, then learning music, app development, nature, learning, games, watching TV serials, social media. So these are the various hobbies we are presenting for the student. We identify which hobbies are more important for engineering graduate, like especially for computer science student. So let us, in this way, we define the list of hobbies to the observable list. When we are calling observable array list method, this list of objects are created and return observable list object. This observable list object is added to the list view by calling method from list view set of items method. So here we pass the items as a argument to the set items method. So this method adds the created observable list of items to the observable list of items or observable list object to the list view component. Then we set the preferable size for the list view. Set preferred size for the list view component 400 comma 400. Then we will define the list view. We will define the list view component is allows for selecting single item or allowing for selecting of multiple items. In order to set this property, we have to get the multiple selection model object. We have to get the multiple selection model object. Once after getting multiple selection object model object only, we can set the selection mode. Without having multiple selection model object, we cannot set the list view component selecting of more than one item. So in order to get the multiple selection model object, we have to call one method from list view component. The method is get selection model method. By calling list view object dot get selection model method, it retrieves the multiple selection model object. The get selection model method from list view retrieves the multiple selection model object. Through the multiple selection model object, we will call the set selection mode method. So the set selection mode method is defined from multiple selection model object. The set selection mode method, which is defined in multiple selection model object. Through the multiple selection model object only, we can call the set selection mode method. So in order to call set selection mode method, we retrieve the multiple selection model object. The multiple selection model object is retrieved through by calling of get selection model method from the list view object. So from that, we have to set the set selection mode dot multiple. When the selection mode is enum type, the selection mode contains two important properties. One is a single, another one is multiple. If selection mode dot single is preferred, then only one item is selected from the list view component. If selection mode dot multiple is preferred, multiple items are selected from the list view. Then now we have to create a ScrollPane component. ScrollPane sp is equal to new ScrollPane. While creating ScrollPane component, to the ScrollPane component, whatever the list view is created with all setting properties, that list view component is added to the ScrollPane. So now the ScrollPane component is added with the list view component. Then for the ScrollPane, we have to specify the viewport. The viewport which specifies the visibility of the entire list view component from the JavaFX. Set preferred viewport width of 300. Then set the preferred viewport height. We are setting the viewport width and viewport height for the ScrollPane component. Then we would like to go for setting the panable property. Set panable property to true. That means when this property is set, the scroll panes are scrolled. Then we will create a flow pane component. Now we will set the scroll pane component to the flow pane observable list. In order to get observable list of the flow pane, we'll call the getChildren method through the flow pane object. fp.getChildren bit returns the observable list of the flow pane component. Next we call the addAll method. We'll add a scroll pane component. Next we add a button find your habits. Next we add the label L. So here the ListView component is not directly added to the flow pane. The ListView component is added to the scroll pane. Scroll pane only added to the flow pane. When scroll pane is added to the flow pane, indirectly the ListView component also added to the flow pane. Next, would like to go for setting the alignment for the flow pane. Set alignment pvs.center. That means the flow pane is displayed at the center of the JavaFX. Now would like to close for the init method. Then we will define a start method, public voice start stays st throws exception. Let us define the event handling for the button. When find your hobbies button is clicked after selecting items from the list view, we have to display that items on the label. So for button we are defining the event handling by calling the setOnAction method that invokes the event registration for button as the argument. We will define the event handling. The event handling here we will handle through the lambda expressions. Let us define the event handling for the button. Declare one variable for retrieving the selected items. Cell items variable. This string argument tracks the list of items selected. Then in order to get the selected items are retrieved through the observable list. Why? Because in our execution of programs from JavaFX scene, different times we would like to select different items. So all that items to be tracked, that items are tracked through the observable list, not through the java.util list. In order to track the changes happens in selection of list view items. Instead of taking list, we have to take the observable list object. Observable list items is equal to, in order to get the selected items, lv dot call the method from list view. The method is get selected items method. Get selected items method. The get selected items method not referred from the list view component. The get selected items method is defined from the multiple selection model method. In order to get the multiple selection model object, we have to call the method from the list view, that is get selection model method. The get selection model method retrieves the multiple selection model object. Through the multiple selection model object, we will retrieve the get selected item. So here the item selected from the list view not directly called from the list view component, not directly called from the list view component, that is called from the multiple selection model. So that means in order to work with the list view component, we cannot independently work with the list view component. We can combinedly work with the multiple selection model only. In order to demonstrate the list view component, both classes are required. One is list view component, second one is multiple selection model. Understanding of list view and multiple selection model class methods only, we can able to work with or we can able to demonstrate the we can able to demonstrate the program of the list view component. Next, the item variable invoked from this statement retrieves the selected item. We have to display all items through the for loop iterator. For int I is equal to 0, I less than items dot size. So that means how many items are selected, that it retrieved from the item dot size method from the observable list class I plus plus. The entire for loop is iterated item dot size method, the size returned from the size method. Next, we assign that values to the cell items. Cell items plus is equal to plus item dot get of I. So that means the item retrieves the selected items. Here to the cell item variable, we will retrieve each and every item, and that item is added to the cell items string variable. We are not appending all selected items at a time. We are appending one item, that each item separated with space. Each item separated with space. If you are not taking this logic, what happens is all selected items overlapped with one to another. That means identifying which items are selected and how they are separated, that become difficult for us. So that's why from the list of items selected from the observable list, we will retrieve each and every item separately through the for loop, and retrieved items are separated with the space symbol. For that, we are writing this logic. Next, whatever the items are retrieved, we will add to the label. For that, we will call the L dot set text of selected items. So this is the way we define the action event for button button control. Let us close the lambda expression. Here lambda expression is closed. Next, to close the set an action method. Then we define the scene object. We go for creating scene object. S is equal to new scene of flow pane object comma 500 comma 500. We are defining the size of the scene. So take instead of 500, take 700 and 700 for more clear visibility. Next, set the scene object to the stage. Set scene S. Then set title for the stage. Find your hobbies. Then call the show method. So this is the way we are defining start method. Then We will define the default main method. Without defining main method also, this program is executed. If you are not defining main method, the default method from JavaFX application class is executed. Complete the definition of main method, and the launching of JavaFX application is optional. Let us call the launch method. Close the main method and close the class. So this is the way we define the ListView demo program by creating ListView object, then by creating ScrollPane object. Once after setting configurations for the ListView component, the ListView component is added to the ScrollPane. Next, for displaying selected hobbies on the label, we created label component. For appropriate event handling, after selecting items from the list view, we created button component. Then the scroll pane component, button and label are added to the flow pane layout object. Then we are setting alignment for the flow pane on the JavaFX scene as center. After then, in the start method, we are defining event handling for the button. Which items are selected from the list view that are added to the observable list. The observable list is retrieved in order to display all items on the label component. In this way, we demonstrated. Let us save the program and go for execution. JavaC ListView fx demo.java. Okay, we got errors. We check out geometry spelling. Okay. I'll compile the program again. Okay, we got 2 errors. We'll check out the errors at viewport. Okay, in viewport method, p is lowercase. Viewport height and viewport width. Okay, so this is the way we make the changes and compile the program again. Okay, program is successfully compiled. Now we execute the program. JavaC Java space ListView fx demo. Okay, so this is the way JavaFX scene is created and ListView component is created, and find your hobbies button is created. This is complete viewport, complete scroll pane viewport. These are the vertical scroll and horizontal scrolls are created. Vertical scroll bars and horizontal scroll bars are created. This is the viewport width. This is viewport height. How we mentioned viewport width and height to the scroll panes. In that way, the viewport width and viewport height is defined. So these are the list of items we defined for the observable array list through the fx.collections method. Observable list of items are created. Then we will select the interested hobbies for the upcoming software engineers, competitive programming, learning programming languages, app development. These are the important hobbies are required to overcome the stress while doing these hobbies. Just learn the traditional music of India, then go through the nature understanding the internal nature of the operating systems and different softwares which are installed in the computer system. That is actually the nature learning for the software engineer. This will give quite interest for our relaxed mind. Then click find your hobbies. The hobbies are displayed and each hobby is separated with space. So this is the way we demonstrated the ListView component and ScrollPane component. Next, here we doesn't maintain any space between the ListView and ScrollPane and button, find your hobbies button and the label. We have to set the space while creating FlowPane component 30, 30. A space is maintained. Again we go for compiling the program. Running the program. So now the space is maintained. For ListView component and button and respective label. Now I would like to go for selecting one item from the ListView, one hobby displayed by pressing through the control key from the keyboard. I am selecting more than one item. Find your hobbies. Okay, 3 different hobbies are displayed. So this is the way we are selecting multiple hobbies and we are selecting single hobby. The multiple selection model constant, when you are taking a selection mode as a multiple, it select one item. It allows for selecting multiple items also. So this is the way we demonstrated the ListView component. Thank you for watching this presentation.